Today I encourage you to look at Acts chapter 4 and verses 1 through 22. And this is the follow-up to Peter and John healing the man at the beautiful gate who had been lame from birth. He's healed. Everyone's astonished. Peter preaches another sermon. And while Peter and John were still speaking, this is the beginning of chapter 4, the priests, the captain of the temple, and the Sadducees came to them much annoyed because they were teaching the people and proclaiming that in Jesus there is the resurrection of the dead. So they arrested them and put them in custody until the next day, for it was already evening. Now here's an important note. On the day of Pentecost, which we think of as the birthday of the church in chapter 2, Holy Spirit comes, Peter preaches, and it's amazing because we're told 3,000 people were added to their number in Acts chapter 2, verse 41. But at the end of this healing of the man lame from birth and Peter's sermon, we're told in chapter 4, verse 4, that many of those who heard the word believed, and they numbered about 5,000. So 2,000 more people responded to Peter's message in chapter 3 than on the day of Pentecost itself. So it's even bigger. The movement of Jesus is growing very rapidly. So the next day they interrogate Peter and John, asking by what power, by what name did you do this? And Peter, filled with the Holy Spirit, again talks about Jesus to them. And our verse for the day is verse 13. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and realized that they were uneducated and ordinary men, they were amazed and recognized them as companions of Jesus. And what I want you to ponder today is, can people tell that you have been with Jesus? Peter and John, here they are before the top religious leaders in the land, people who had studied under well-known rabbis, who knew the scriptures very well, were educated, literate. And here are Peter and John, uneducated, ordinary men. What they were doing, they weren't doing in their own strength. They weren't doing it in their own ability. It was the Holy Spirit working through them and through their faith, but they recognized them as companions of Jesus. And I really think that should be a goal for all of us, that by how we interact with other people, not just when everything's going well, but especially when there are disagreements or conflicts or stress, can people recognize by how we act in the midst of those challenging circumstances that we have been with Jesus because of the power, the grace, the boldness, the love, the kindness that flows through us. To me, this verse is a goal of mine. It's something that I keep in mind as much as possible every day of my life. I want people to be able to sense, hey, that seems like someone who's been with Jesus. And I hope that will be true of me and of you and of everyone connected to our church.